the large percentage of some children that were that were given out for adoption that didn't quite go through a normal process, that the parents they just called the people and said, oh, this child is ready. Those children were abused.
Hello, 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 everyone. Nice to see that you are joining me on this platform and you're here to talk. We're here actually to talk about adoption as an option. Yeah, it rhymes, doesn't it? Adoption as an option. Yeah, nice word, catchy word. Anyway, so you are welcome. I'm really glad you're here to learn from someone who has been through it all. I'll say through it all, and she's got a very wonderful testimony of from grass to grace.
So she's someone that we also were childhood childhood friends to say, yeah, friends to say, a younger friend. Well, yeah, we're childhood friends, and we grew up in the same, if you know, Festa town. Yes, that's where it was happening then. In those days when we were growing up, so it was more like it used to be the posh part of Lagos. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with all the details, but I would like to invite onto the screen a friend. Catch your breath.
Yes. Her name is Sola Afolayan, and she's going to tell us a bit more about herself. So, learning from someone who has been through it and who could actually show us the way, inspire us, and create awareness for those who could be struggling with some circumstances in their lives. So, yeah, over to you. You are welcome, Shola.
Absolutely. You're a big sis to me, and I have fond memories of our childhood playing in the neighborhood. It was just good memory, I must say. So nice connecting once more, and I'm very honored to join your platform to speak to your audience, and I hope that I will be a blessing to, even if it's just one person.
Yeah, thank you very much. So now that takes me. Thank you very much for that brief introduction. Now that takes me to why did you opt for adoption? I know it's a strange topic, and not many people come to talk about this for different reasons. But I'm blessed that you were able to say, oh yes, there's something I want to create an awareness about. And I'm actually into creating awareness, scammers, different things, the gospel. I'm all about creating awareness and letting people know that there are options. We don't need to wallow in situations beyond our control. There are options out there, and you're here to talk to us about adoption as an option. So why did you opt for adoption, first of all?
Okay, so firstly, I must say that fundamentally, my decisions are derived from my belief systems, which is embedded within my spirituality. Which I was born into a Christian family, so usually before I take any fundamental steps, I have to like double check. Okay, is this aligned? Because I don't want any misalignment. My soul is troubled, my mind is troubled. It affects a lot of parts of my life. So the Bible says children are the heritage of the Lord. So I believe that fundamentally, however you get a child in a God ordained way is a blessing anyway. So but I didn't get there overnight. Like I could recall like about 10-15 years ago, I used to work at an international organization, and a few of the ladies there, they were married, and they were reading this book called The Waiting Room. It what scared me because the narrative there is people that are waiting to be, to have that waiting period to be pregnant and to have their own children. I just said, oh my goodness, I'm not going to, even foreboding, right? I'm not going to read this, and I'm not just going to prepare for it. I didn't want that to cross my mind. And from childhood, I've been someone that I've been very, people person. I'm very prone to taking care of children. And back then my mom had a nursery and primary school. I started the daycare center, the babysitting center. So I was quite, I just felt it was going to be easy for me, but it wasn't. So adoption wasn't my first option. It was like an option that my eyes opened to, and I'm very grateful for that. So, and of course, biologically, that women, the reproduction, is just biologically, you just know that there are lots of issues around that, and I know that God can do a lot of things, but I know also that God has made us gods on earth, and some of these doctors are, God's representative on earth. So, however, God helps them to respond to our prayers is just the way forward. So, I will be clocking 45 this year, and so I knew that my reproductive age was declining in terms of in respect of egg quality and then the egg quantity. So at some point, I know I've made several attempts at their conception. I've gone through IVF like I would say 3.5 times, because the last one was stopped midway, and it was just a lot of issues. I've had over, I would say, 21 surgeries, trying to just conceive. At some point, I have all of the I'm not a medical person, but I have all of the stereoscopy, this, that, and then, a lot of women in Africa, I would say maybe African descent, do have a bit of fibroid issues. So having to go through fibroid myself. At some point, the one I had was so massive, it was a 7 hours um, intervention that it was. So I'd gone through a lot of issues with my body. And then, of course, being a woman is going to affect your work, your career, because, of course, IVF, what is being pumped into are hormones. A woman produces 1 egg per month, and but when those hormones are pumped into, some women produce as much as 18 or 21 eggs at a go. So you can imagine, those things that are being pumped into your body, and of course, it affects your emotions. So I can see a lot of the times when I was going through all those processes, I know at just the drop of a pen, I'm going to cry. Somebody crosses my path, I'm going to cry. And I can say I'm quite a pretty strong woman, yeah, emotionally and otherwise. So it quite, affected a lot of things about me. And then at some point, I actually almost lost the job. Instead of they sacking me, I had to, resign, because I didn't want to have that in my. So I had explored a lot of all of this, and then at some point, I just gave up. Right? I know that, there is this common saying that says, where you give up, where your end is where God starts. So after that, because at that time I was still married, and I conceived naturally, and I conceived of twins. I was so super. I was like, oh my goodness, this is so unbelievable. No, it can't be. Oh my goodness. I was trying to find a scientific or a biological link and say, okay, maybe because I did a particular surgery at a particular time and this happened, you know. But then it happened that 4 months down the line, I lost the twin babies. It was quite traumatic for me at that time, and then going through the evacuation period and stuff like that, and then people still thinking I was pregnant and my tummy was big about everything. It was quite a time, but it was also a time that I dug deep in my relationship with God. It's the most transformative period of my life, because I did ask a lot of questions. And like I said initially, I was born into a Christian family, but at that point was when I needed to know God for myself. Like, I needed to ask some questions, because there are sometimes we feel like we want to pray to God, but at the back of our mind, we think that God will not give us what we desire, because I feel like, oh God, maybe He doesn't really want me to have this thing, right? But it's just the lie of the devil. But it was good that I had that doubt and I could go to God, and because He says that, just ask me and I would give you evidence, right? So God was so tender, loving, all they say TLC, tender, loving care. It was just showering. It was so much showering upon me. Everything, just God just brought people, helpers around me, right? So and then I began to see. I said, okay, so perhaps because I waited a bit, for me to get the right person, to get married, and then and then I was my career. I was I get my masters and stuff like that. I said, okay, so how can I help other women that are especially secondary school people, because a lot of these issues start when you at puberty, where the girls start their period, their menstruation, and you can
Okay.
see, yeah,
Yeah.
so you can see a lot of
Um,
irregularities, all of
mm,
those things start there. So I wanted to educate them, and then after
yeah.
that go to at the university level
Yeah.
to talk to them that there's nothing bad about it. Just go save your eggs, right?
Mm,
You don't, if you are not ready, and he addressed it. There's a lot of ripple effect and really outcomes, unintended outcomes that happens as a result of that, because you are not never going to rush into a bad relationship because just because, oh, my reproductive age, my fertility age is declining, I just
mm,
have to jump on someone just to have an offspring. So I started, which I could speak about later. I started a
okay.
yellow neck. Yeah. So I
Mm,
explored all of these things to get up to this point. I just said, God, I surrender, right? So
mm,
God just do everything. But then there was a kind of peace that came um, after I started, volunteering at orphanages. At some point, I volunteer like 3 times in a month, like over the weekend, just go sleep over. And I began to say, why do I even want to conceive and have my own when these children are suffering? I was, oh my goodness, can I take all of these kids?
oh.
It was just, that was where the awakening came. I said, but why do I really, really? So, me, is it my ego? Is it society? Is it, what exactly is it?
Hmm.
So I began to explore all of those things. I said, okay, but people say, oh, you never conceived. Oh, this child is not yours. Oh, at some point, I said, well, this makes me happy because when I'm even down or when I need to pour love and attention on things, that is where my mind always goes to. So I just
Hmm.
said, so why don't I just, do
Yeah,
this?
take the
So that
step.
was how eventually I
Wow.
arrived at, yeah,
Okay,
that
opting for.
decision. Yes,
All right. Oh, wow, wow, wow. You've gone through all of the emotions, the ups and downs, the highs and lows. You're strong. You're strong because little things flip people to the edge that you
absolutely.
just hear, they've taken their lives or they can't cope with such things. But you've gone through all of that and God has preserved you to be a blessing to your generation. Also, I'm so grateful that, he's been your peace and he has given you that peace from adoption. Now, what are the other options to biological children? What are the many people will be like, oh yeah, I want to have my own bone of my bone, my flesh of my flesh, my blood of my blood, and all of that. But there are other options there. So what are the other options? I know you've mentioned a part of it whilst you were talking, but you do want to itemize what are those options for people who are listening, who are thinking, oh, so I don't actually need to have my own children, even if I'm able to. Maybe like I was talking to some people, some people are like, oh, I just don't want to go through those bodily changes and all of that. So what are my options? Or some are like, oh, I have my own children, but I still want more, but I don't want to have them myself. What are the options? So, or maybe people are in secondary school and are thinking, thinking, okay, what will my future be like? I don't know if I will want children or for myself. I don't know if I want to adopt or I want to do other things. But what are those options for people who are listening today?
So, firstly, I would say that every girl, starting from every mother should educate their child around that. And the world where we live right now, a lot of all these things are being told, on the playground when they go out, their girls group, WhatsApp platform, all the social media. So it's just out there. So it's
Mm,
better for parents to actually educate their girls around this. Very important. So I would say firstly that parents and especially mothers should pay attention to the menstrual history or circumstance of their girls, so that any issues that can be explored like immediately. There are lots of people that have so I've forgotten what the name of this is. Maybe I'll come back to that. But it's when the tissues within the womb grow outside the womb. So you have people actually menstruating not just from the womb area, from the uterus, but also from the path of the anus. So they bleed from different places because the tissues, so all of those things attack, eggs and all of this, also, the tubes and stuff. So women should try as well. And it's not because, whether the girl is still a virgin or not a virgin. There are lots of medical intervention that parents can explore now to quickly check the reproductive system of their child. That's the first thing. And for anyone that is not ready yet, if you need to save your eggs, you can save eggs as long as even for 30 years. And that is obtainable even in Nigeria. I have very qualified clinics and fertility hospitals that do that quite well. The other one I would want to talk about is, we women sometimes, people do say that we shame ourselves, or sometimes women could be our own most worst enemies. I hear a lot of narratives online where some people say, "Oh, she didn't give birth naturally. Oh, she gave birth through cesarean. So that means she's not like a real mother. She's not a tough mother." So you can imagine the pressure also on. There are some women that don't want to even get married. There are some people that don't even want to have children. They have that motherly love that they want to actually extend, but they don't actually want children because they feel, there are several reasons why they don't want that, right? And so for some people, that don't even have any issues, but they said, "Oh, my body, I just want to preserve my body," because that was the point I got to. At the point I said, my body has served me so well. My body has been so faithful. My body has been so loyal. Why do I want to keep disturbing this body? Why do I want to take this body through a lot of issues? And at some point, it was quite laughable because when I Google illnesses, like illness, pregnancy is actually thought as a weakness, as an illness, because it's a foreign thing growing in the body, and a lot of issues. You have diabetes, caused by pregnancy and stuff like that, right?
Yes.
So what I say to those kind of women is, when you come to terms with that, and then you've grown, because there's a point of age, there's a certain age that you get that you don't even care about what anyone wants to say about your decision. You can
Yes.
go for what they call surrogacy. And there is a bit of philanthropic part to that, which I would say, like, there are some people, like you have a crypto cryo bank. There is what we call the cryo bank. The cryo bank is where they save eggs and sperm for donors. So if you don't have any fertility issues, and everything is all right, but you still don't want to carry the child, you can actually get a surrogate. A surrogate is somebody, you could be a maternal surrogate. That means the lady that is carrying the pregnancy used her egg, for your conception. So a married couple, and maybe the wife is going through a cancer treatment, or the wife has chosen not to disturb her body for whatever reason. So the husband's sperm and the wife's egg is harvested and then done through an IVF process, and then transferred into another woman who carries their sperm and egg. I'm not a medical person. I don't know what that they call it.
Well,
Like or whatever.
embryo. It becomes an
Embryo,
embryo
yes,
because I
absolutely.
know that when it
Embryo, yes. So
fertilizes,
and
yeah.
then that person carries it to term. And I see that, while I studied a bit in the UK, there were a few friends that were struggling with their school fees, especially the guys. They do sperm donation. They got a token and stuff
Right.
like that. Yeah. So, but like in Nigeria, right? A lady maybe in the university struggling to do education and stuff like that could do surrogacy. There is a clinic in Lagos that has a surrogate bank where you have lists and names of people that are ready to volunteering to carry for to terms pregnancy for couples that don't want to they don't want that needs assistance in that regard. So and the option is there, and anybody, because you could have a known surrogate and you could have an unknown surrogate, because you know like when I wanted to go that path, so they sent me, because it's a legal process.
Yeah.
Some people, when they discover that, oh, this person is maybe well to do or is known in the society, when they give birth, they don't want to release the child. Or
And
some
then
clinic, is some women have postpartum depression when so a lot of things happen to women. So the clinic that I use is very important in that regards. And the clinic I wanted to use that time actually does a psychological counseling, and a lot of things, even like up to 6 months after the lady is giving birth, because some of them want to bond a bit with the child because of breastfeeding. They need to go to the clinic like every time to extract the breast milk, and then the mother will come in and take that away. Yeah. So and of course, some people, there are some mothers actually do want to carry that. So especially mothers that can still medically carry a baby, does that for do that for their children. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so those are the two options that I know. At least save your eggs till when you're ready, and then the surrogacy part. And then, of course, if you're not conceiving, naturally explore. There are a lot of options. IVF is quite the you have the IUI, you have the one that is assisted fertilization, where they help you time when your ovulation is, and when the timing when you need to meet, when you need to abstain and stuff like that. And sometimes if you have some issues around, maybe they call it PCOS, where some people don't even menstruate at all, or they menstruate once a year, or so there are medications that they would need to use to force that to happen. Yeah.
Mm. Mm. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I know that in the UK there's a big push for fostering as well. So
Mm-hmm.
people who could foster other children who are already in the system, who need that parental care. Oh, thank you, thank you. So, now, what were those questions or concerns or fears you had pre-adoption? Because I'm sure it's something you had to ruminate about, you had to think, you had to pray, like you said, you need to consult God if that was the right decision. So, what were those questions and concerns or fears, or maybe not from you, maybe from friends, from family, from people you've listened to? What were they?
So I have a very supportive family, and of course my parents actually put super much pressure on me. So, oh, shall I just go for it? Oh, we're gonna support you. Oh, I can't wait. So I had that massive support from my parents. So just go do what you need to do, and so I really thank God for that. And of course, not just my parents alone, but of my immediate family and friends. Because when I eventually said I was ready for that, it was a friend that introduced me into the process. But before I respond to your question directly, you mentioned something on the fostering, which I didn't mention earlier, around one of the options. Like the process in Nigeria, if you want to adopt, you have to first foster. So I had to foster my child for about 3 months before I eventually was given the final adoption papers for.
Papers. Right.
Yeah. So in terms of my worries, my concerns, assumptions and stuff like that, I was quite I'm more, some of us are introverts. We live a lot in our heads. And even when even when people are not thinking or talking about us, so oh my god, the world, as if the world circles around us. Oh, somebody must be thinking this, somebody must be thinking that, oh my god. And you just want to make sure that everything looks good, everything is alignment with.
Every
So,
boxes.
but when I stopped thinking about that, I just said, okay, I'm going to do this for me. It's just my happiness, my joy, and everything, right? And because I was prepared mentally, and some of the things that God has helped me to do ahead of time, and then COVID happened. COVID happened, and a lot of things. People just got back to perspective. Everyone went and what is the major thing? What is the most important thing, right?
About life, yeah.
Yeah,
True.
so when the opportunity came, I wasn't even thinking all of those loud noises in my mind and me overthinking and all of those things. I didn't even think about that, and I just went for it. So, but prior to that, I had a lot of misconception around it, and I had fears also because, Nigeria does Nigeria has um, policies in place. It has those systems in place. But when people are the one that actually need to carry out those things, is interpreted differently, and also there isn't so much an oversight around that. So people do whatever they need to do. And you hear a lot of things in the news around baby factory. So I was really, really super scared around, oh my goodness, what if I don't know the history of the child? What if they stole this child? What if I just feel, because we are all spirit beings living in a bodily,
Yeah.
there is nothing that is hidden, right? So
True.
even though, even if they lie, because I just feel, oh my god, if they lie to me and I don't know, but then the child knows, and then I was just so worried. I was just like, I must say, I was not just worried, I was paranoid about the source. You understand? So that's when, of course, I began to volunteer at orphanages, for me to just look at how they practice, what they do to the children. Are these children that sell? All of those things that happen. So that was one of my major fears, right? And I just promised myself I was going to go through all the, because people said, oh, if you go through the normal route, oh my God, it's just, you're gonna wait on the queue for about 4, 5 years, 10 years. I said I don't mind, as long as I get
The right. Yeah.
the right thing. I'm at peace, and I'm at peace. And then the other thing I thought, that was a worry to me was, okay, would I ever tell the child that I adopted her? How would it affect the child? Then I like to read a lot. I do a bit of research. I like to use data, and I began to do a lot of research, and I discovered that some children that are, a lot of some percentage, I didn't review that before this call, but I could give that later. But the large percentage of some children that were given out for adoption, that didn't quite go through a normal process, that the parents, they just called the people and said, oh, this child is ready. Those children were abused.
Wow.
Yes, a lot of them were abused, and and some of them were even returned. Like, where I live in Nigeria is in Abuja, so there are a lot of options. In Abuja is quite modern in the way it carries out a policy, and also Lagos, right? And so what they do is that if you adopt any child and you think, oh, I've changed my mind, I'm not interested, I think this child is hard or whatever, or I discovered that this child has a medical issue that I can't take care of, please return the child to social welfare, or return the child to the orphanage. So it's very explicit. They are not going to condemn you or whatever. Please just do the right thing. you know so my concern was actually, it wasn't based in reality, because all my fears, I was asking a lot of questions around
Yeah.
that. And then the other thing also was, I was concerned. I said, okay, because initially I was, oh, maybe I want like a 5-year-old, 7-year-old child. And then I said, no, but I will be missing out on something that I couldn't do naturally myself, in the sense that, changing diapers, seeing her stutter,
Yeah.
all the joys of all of that. So when I met my baby, to me, she was just barely, she was like about 3 weeks,
Wow.
actually. So I was super excited. I was always going, to check out. I would go there from morning till evening. I was just so happy. It was just like, and at some point also, because some of my friends were, oh, shall I just put the breast in it? Maybe if she keeps sucking it, maybe she will, and then some theories were coming up and down, and so, oh yeah, maybe it's so, but just that excitement, and just taking
Yeah.
pictures every time, seeing that turn, seeing that, yawn, and all of it, was just a complete joy for me. So, but then, I had, before I even took it, even though I fell in love with her, at the very first meet, I still wanted to have the medical history. Have they done, the HIV, all of those tests, what blood
Yes.
group, genotype, are there any issues? Did the mom use drugs? Some of this, our young, this generation is just another thing entirely. So because I don't have the capacity to take care of a child that has a disability, so I just needed to be very upfront with myself around that. Yeah. So when the report came clean, so I said, "Oh yeah, I think I'll go. I'll go for that." So it was a medical thing that was, another concern for me then. And of course, it's not everyone that would, love that. So I make sure I surrounded myself with, friends that believed, and they were quite progressive and
True.
open-minded and had
True.
the growth mindset. Yeah. Then the other thing I always thought about is, okay, so what if the mother, like the birth mother, shows up?
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah, it shows up in the future, because the legal way, if you do go through the legal path in Nigeria, is if the mother is known, because there are some children that are abandoned, right? So if the mother is known, the mother goes to court, gives the child over to the government, and the government, assigns the child to a particular orphanage, and then from there, all the process would begin. Um, yeah, so I had that serious fear, but I just said to myself, I said, well, I would have done good to a child, right? And I will have, had all the joys in the world, and it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Even if the mother comes back or whatever. Then I've had stories where, you have, oh, this is my pet mother, but this is my mother. This is my mother that I know. This way. So it's just complete joy. And you can't deny a child. You can't deny a child for, of that kind of, because some of them you will just feel incomplete. They will just keep searching all of their lives for they are looking for a particular connection.
Yes.
So I don't know the future, but I know who owns the future. So I'm just
Hallelujah.
calm about that. Yeah.
Thank God, thank God. I was about asking the next question of, have you got a faith, and how has it helped you in making your decision, or has it not helped you? But you've kind of said it all. Am I correct that you've got a faith, and it has actually helped you to, you know, allay all the fears and depending on the one who owns the future, or has it actually been contrary? Maybe if you were not in that faith, you would have taken this decision a long time ago. What do you think? For people who are asking questions.
Yeah. So for me, really, my path in Christianity is quite an interesting one, because I believe I usually don't follow the crowd. I want to set God for myself and stuff like that.
Yes.
So even if someone tells me thing, I want to find out if it's the way for me, because when I get on that path and I'm stuck, I want to say, yes, I actually go on this path. I know what I was doing. Yeah.
Yes.
So I know that at some point God will have put a lot of signposts on the way for me to see, but it wasn't just the time, so I didn't quite see it. But when I took this step, that sometimes I cried myself to sleep. Oh my goodness, I don't think I'm worthy of her. Oh my goodness, I don't think I can do this. No, maybe I'm not doing the right thing. It was just, and especially because of I'm a single mother, so I feel, oh, am I not denying this child of the balance or the completeness of family? I feel when is a man and a woman is complete, right? Maybe I'm wrong, but I feel, because of my upbringing, my experiences, that's my belief system. So I'm always thinking, oh, maybe I should get, I should, make sure that she gets,
A father.
just that pressure comes on me all the time. And then the fear of the future. Oh my God, if something happens to me, who will take care of the child? So I'm beginning to set up like an estate. I'm beginning to set like a trust for education trust, anticipating a lot of things just to make sure that everything is. So my fears are, when my fears come, faith comes, and then faith goes and fears come. So, well, yeah. So there won't be any faith without fear or doubt. So it just they help each other at some point. Yeah. So it's never ending. Both faith and
Yes.
fear. It's just a
Yes.
journey for me.
Sure, thank God for that. So, like Joyce Meyer says, when fear knocks, send faith to answer. So
Absolutely.
when all of, if even when adults have older children, you still worry about them. When they're babies, you worry about them
Mhm.
until the end, until you get to until people get to the grave. We never stop worrying, because that's part of life as humans. But we thank God that we have an anchor. We have an anchor in Christ, and we depend on His word. It says, "Fear not, cast all your cares upon Him, for He cares for
Mhm.
you." So thank God
Mhm.
that your faith is working for you. Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Now, what I've got just two more questions because I know we've been here for too long. Not too long. I'm enjoying you, to be honest. We're not here for too long. We've been here for the right amount of time. It's just I'm careful of not taking you away from to me to say, "Oh, mommy, where are you?
Yeah.
you're, you're attending to someone else for too long. Come to me." Babies will always seek attention. All right.
Yes.
So, two more questions. What is your advice to those who are looking for alternatives? There are people either they're older or they're younger or I know you've mentioned some of them. Do you want to reiterate and again tell us what would be your advice for those who are looking for alternatives? Some are even thinking, oh, does it mean I don't have faith if I have to, if I don't depend on God? Oh, there's Sarah. Sarah was 90 years, da 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 da, and all of those things. So, what is your advice for people who are having, who are just who just need advice? Yeah,
Yeah. So I would say, the Bible says, God of yesterday, today, and forevermore, right? He
yeah,
would
it
not
was
change.
13:8.
And he said, none shall be barren in my land, in the land.
True.
And there are a lot of Bible passages that you can just quote to that. But God does not necessarily work the way we think, or we can't put God in a box, right?
Yeah.
Children are the heritage of the Lord. He is the one, they are gifts from God. Is this child that I'm having through surrogacy, through adoption, made by God, right? So that is one basic thing that clears that. The second thing is your faith does not die because, like, my faith is not dead because I have adopted. If I choose to have faith to conceive naturally, and God honors it, or God says, okay, it is time for it, right? It will still happen. So you adopting a child does not. In fact, Yoruba people used to say, Yoruba is a tribe in Lagos, in Nigeria. So there is an adage that they say around, a child draws a child. That
Yes.
yes, right. I'll just say go for it. Um, just go just go for it, and whatever your fears are, there are a lot of people out there that have done this before that you can ask them. I would also say, try and go through the right channel. Make sure that it's the very right channel that you go through, for several reasons. And
Yes.
also, surround yourself with people that will support you, because you need massive, massive emotional support. And you can never be fully financially ready. You know, I thought, oh, yeah, I got that settled, but I needed to reach out to friends, in that regards also, because, yeah, you just want to do the best for the child.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I would.
Oh, so go for it. So, would you say it's an easy option? Would you say you're happier for it? I know, yes, you said a lot, and I can say yes, you are, but I wanted to come from the answer. You're happier for it. You feel safe. You feel secure. You feel you're fulfilling purpose. Doing
Yes.
this, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel I'm fulfilling purpose. The Bible says true religion is taking care of widows
The
and
widows
orphans.
of fatherless. Yes. Enough. Yeah.
A lot of these children are orphans,
Hmm.
and you can imagine how you change the entire destiny. God is the one that calls what our destiny, but He's going to use His representative on earth, and that is you and I. So it's just everything that there's nothing that can go wrong about it. There's nothing that you badly.
Hallelujah.
The only thing is just make sure that you are not getting a child that's stolen or there are issues. Just go, yeah. And then even if you want to test that out, just go to an orphanage and volunteer and see these children, support them. Yeah, or try to just foster a child, see
Hmm.
how that goes, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, so what is your NGO or your charity, the Yellow Nest, about? So,
Yeah, so when I was going through those period where after the miscarriage, And then I was beginning to think, oh, I can help. You know, when you go through a particular pain, you want to help other people so they didn't go through that. So that's where I begin to conceptualize, having where people can save their eggs, so people can save their sperm. There are some young people now go through, have cancers, and before you go through chemo or whatever intervention that you need to do, you need to save your reproductive system. So a lot of people, so that's why I just thought about how can I help put the
Yeah.
word out there. So a lot of education, working with medical practitioners to have a cryobank. A
Oh,
cryobank is where you
bank.
save, yes, where you save all of this, this in there. And also, having gone through IVF myself and I was exploring different options, I saw some gaps there, and I
Mm.
felt, oh, because there are some children that they are born through the egg donor, sperm donor thing, and they still want to know, "Oh, who is my original father, who donated on my behalf." They just,
Oh,
children are inquisitive,
yes.
and I see that that wasn't done in Nigeria. So there was one that I was trying to do in New York. I think it's New York, Bank or whatever. And you could have the picture, like when the donor was 1 year old or 2 year old. So you know how it looks. And the man also would give like a voice note to say,
Mm.
oh, I didn't do this because of money, but I did this to help, like a couple that are seeking for children. I
Mm.
love you, you know. And then
Yeah.
some people will say, okay, they want to, if the child really wants to meet them, I'm open to that. So it just helps that connection. So I saw that
Yeah.
gap there, and I said, oh, let me start yellow nest. So it's yellow and nest, like yellow for me is a symbol of happiness. So
Mm.
everything in that egg, and it's just different. You can have a quail egg, I have like a chicken egg, so everybody comes in different forms and shapes, but it's just
Yes.
egg, right? And
Yes.
then just a nest happy, and everybody bonding and doing their thing and making sure the final outcome is achieved. So that was what made me start that. But then I work within like behavioral economics. I'm a data person. I work in the international development, and I felt, oh, it's like me starting a new path, a new career path, which I wasn't really equipped for, because that's medical thing. Especially if I want to hold down the entrepreneurial part of it and then bring. So I was not looking for. So I got an app developers, and they developed the app for me. I set up the social media, so we'll see on Facebook and the rest of it. But then I thought to myself, because I like to go all in, so
Mm.
I was not looking for who to sell the idea to. I met a few hospitals, medical directors, and I sold the ideas to them, and then they ran forward with it. So even
Wow.
though Yellowness is still registered, it's not functioning because we've handed
Mm.
over the idea and what we've developed to another
Wow.
clinic in Lagos.
So,
Yeah.
but there might be people maybe in other parts of the country or who are thinking, where do I start from? I need information. Who do I go to?
Mm.
Is it a hospital? Do you have a baby, motherless baby's home contact, or is there anything you can help with if they need any information right now?
Yeah, so what I can help with, like if you were in Abuja, I can help with the Ministry of Women Affairs.
Okay.
There is the social services under Women Affairs. I know those because social welfare people will come and inspect the house. So I know the
Mm.
team that
Oh,
inspects.
okay.
Yeah, then a list of orphanages that I've worked with, that
Mm.
anyone can reach out. So I can help. So if they are based in Abuja or they want to
All
adopt in
right.
Abuja, yes, I could be of
So
support.
for it, if you're comfortable with someone coming to you to ask
Mm.
questions, how can they reach you?
Yeah, so I think I'm more
Or
active.
reach someone else if you have a number.
Yeah,
Maybe
so
you
I
could give.
think I'm more active on Instagram because I'm a pictorial person.
Okay.
Sometimes a bit of Facebook, so I can share those platform with you,
Okay.
and
Okay.
anybody can reach out and DM and stuff like that. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. We've come to the end of the interview session. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I can't thank you enough, but I know you're blessing lives and you're fulfilling purpose and you're happy. That's the most important thing, that you're happy with the decision you've made. There are people who are looking for happiness out there, but due to cultural reasons or religious reasons, they're just confused. So
Mm-hmm.
it's good that you've thrown light on this and taken us through your journey. It's an emotional roller coaster, but thank God you're better in the end, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel for you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
God bless you and keep you and to me, and you shall live to fulfill, she shall live to fulfill purpose, you will live to fulfill purpose, you shall all be joyful in the end, and your maker will tell you well done at the end of it all, in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank
Any
you.
last words?
Yeah, it's my complete pleasure. Absolutely. Supporting you on your platform. You inspire me a lot. My sister tells me a lot about you. Oh, Mommy. Yes, I'm so proud of what you do, and just putting these kind of things out there to help people that are silently, suffering. And a lot of women have had a lot of this depressive episode because of all of this. So yeah, I'm so honored to be on this platform,
Thank you.
to be a blessing. Thank you,
Okay, thank you
Yashika.
very much. And if there are questions after this, viewers, you would write in the comment down below. I will. So thank you very much, Sola Afolayan, for your time. Thank you very much, and we hope to send some questions your way later from
Yeah.
people who are asking, oh yeah, I like this what this lady has said. I like what she's done. I want to be like her. I want to do this. I want to do that too. How can I go about it? So please, I will send people your way if there are questions. This word called adoption. Adoption is an option. From what she has said, we can see that she has got loads of experience, and you can learn from what has been said. So if you've got any questions, please write it on the comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, and let us bring joy, bring happiness to faces of women, girls, ladies out there who are still struggling and who are not aware that adoption is actually an option. Thank you very much, and I will see you some other time. God bless you. Bye bye.